Hello, welcome back to another video. Today is December 31st, 2021, and today I'm going to be going over my Senate predictions for, technically next year, 2022 midterms in the United States. There's been a lot going on the past few months, and I've personally just laid low. I have some good stuff cooking for this channel, but not really. I do have a upcoming mini film about gerrymandering, and I think a lot of people are gonna like it if people do see it. Other than that, I'm gonna get into the predictions. The colors I have on North and South Dakota right now uh, mean a safe Republican, which is 15 points or more. So this would mean plus 15, plus 15R, plus 15R. Same with the Democrats. These colors mean 15 blue, and then it kind of goes on a path, narrowing path. These colors, which is a lighter red, means 7 to 14 points. This pinkish color means 2 to 6 points, and this hardly red is under 2%. Same thing with the Democrats, 15, 7, 2, and under 2. Now, despite Biden's approval fluctuating a lot since the last video, I do believe that Democrats did not end off on as much of a bad note as I thought they would in October. I thought it was going to be really bad, and there was a few surprises. Todd Youngkin won the governor election in November for Virginia, and I can't say I'm amazingly surprised. Todd Youngkin ran a very well campaign, and Terry McAuliffe didn't. He kind of made the mistake of playing I'm not my candidate. Democrats are going to need to learn. Hopefully that was enough for them to learn to not do that. But yeah, there was the governor race, and redistricting has been happening, and I can't say it's looking amazing for the Democrats, but it also wasn't with the old House. So generally, I don't think a ton is going to change. Depending on the maps that Pennsylvania and New York end up passing, I think this could actually put Democrats at leaning over the majority, and Republicans are supposed to have the majority according to uh, district leaning right now. But they don't, because Democrats are doing better. Even with a ton of flips last year in 2020, Dems still had the House, and that just shows that they are not. Their policies is the main thing keeping them going right now, is what I'm trying to say. Their policies are widely approved of, they're just not doing amazing at succeeding them. And another thing is Joe Manchin and Kirsten Sinema have been blocking a lot of huge things, and Democrats really need them to vote with them, and that's another reason why the midterms are so important, is because Democrats need to flip states like Wisconsin, Pennsylvania, North Carolina, which are their best shots, but Republicans have so many more chances. Like, Republicans can flip Nevada, probably not Arizona, actually. I can explain that later. But Republicans can still flip Georgia back. Republicans can flip New Hampshire still. I mean, probably not with Chris Sununu not running, which is another thing I said earlier this year was important uh, to see if Chris Sununu was running. Because if Chris Sununu started running, then that seat would have flipped. I know that seat would have flipped. But he chose not to. Uh, So that's good for the Democrats. Alaska is also interesting because uh, I don't think Trump's endorsed candidate is going to win here, making the GOP turnout for Lisa Murkowski possibly low. I do think it is going to be Lisa Murkowski and an independent that end up winning Alaska's ranked primaries, and that really shows: are the disencouraged Trump voters going to not vote, and the ones that do vote for the independent? Because I know the Democrats are going to vote for the independent over the Republican. So, could Democrats get another caucus in Alaska? That's another opportunity. but I know that sounds crazy right now. I'm just going to get into the elections with starting with the safe seats: North and South Dakota, Idaho, Utah, Oklahoma, Arkansas, Louisiana, Kentucky, Indiana, Iowa, and Ohio. Yes, these are safe states, especially with very strong incumbents in a possible red wave year. Uh, I know a lot of people are gonna piss at me for saying that, but and Alabama, and like I said on this channel, South Carolina has a lot of potential for Democrats to pull out a lot of moderates and swing voters, because there's a lot more in South Carolina than I think, and I think South Carolina might be one of the next states in the Sun Belt to flip, besides Texas. So that's just another interesting thing to look out for. Uh, Sorry about that. But I do currently have South Carolina as safe only because Tim Scott is the candidate. If it was Lindsey Graham, I'd still have it as likely or lean. Oh, sorry. Almost burped. But yes, South Carolina, Tim Scott is still approved of, I believe. And even if he wasn't, he's still going to dominate his primary. He's going to dominate this election, more than likely by over 15 points. His last victory was in 2016 by over 20%, around 21%. And I don't see South Carolina having shifted that much. It's probably going to be a blue state eventually, but not like that. So this already puts Republicans at an okay, no possible filibuster moving kind of thing. Republicans could still block the filibuster with this many people, is what I'm saying. So even if Democrats did win all of these other seats, which at a point is actually possible, extremely unlikely, but possible, uh, Democrats still wouldn't be able to get rid of the filibuster, I believe. So that's probably going to be a rule that's in place for a long time. There needs to be a lot of bipartisan agreement, and yeah. I'm going to do the safe states for the Democrat Party now because I'm doing what I always do and trail a little bit. But Washington, Oregon, California, Hawaii, Colorado, yes, Colorado, New York, Vermont, Connecticut, and Maryland. All of those are almost certainly going to be safe states. I'm not sure what Vermont's governor has been doing. I know this isn't a governor race. I'm just saying because he was thinking about running for Senate, I believe. So, Phil Scott, right? Phil Scott. Re-election. Sorry, looking this up. It does not look like he has said anything about it yet. Uh, and he is, I believe, the most approved of governor in the country. If he runs in Vermont against a new candidate, because Patrick Leahy's retiring, if Phil Scott runs here, he will win, and that would be another Republican seat. And I'm not sure how often Phil Scott would actually caucus with the Dems, but it's a possibility. So yeah, I have Vermont as a safe state right now, and Illinois as a basically safe seat. It's it is technically a red shifting state. You look at its losing population, matching alliance with the trends of Iowa, Ohio, Indiana, Kentucky, Missouri, the entire Rust Belt, in New York. All of those match in line with Illinois' trends. Illinois is one of the only states to shift red in 2020. And if I can actually find the actual preparation, yeah, uh, that it's kind of interesting. There's a lot of interesting shifts that happened in 2020 because Minnesota had a significant shift towards the Democrats, even though it's going to be a red state in about probably like 6 years. Kansas had a significant shift, bigger than Minnesota, and bigger than Georgia, actually. So that's another thing to look out for. And I do think that with a less favored senator running in Kansas's place and a possible good Democrat running here, because Democrats have won in Kansas before. There is crossover vote in Kansas when Republicans feel like it, and they have a Democratic governor. that might actually win re-election next year based on polls. So it's just another example. And Missouri is actually another really interesting state because like 80% of the voters don't know who they would vote for, a Republican or a Democrat. And most of the polls that they released have the Republican winning, but only by like 5 points. 5 points. So it's another interesting thing. I do think it's going to narrow up to around a 12-point win, though. Again, I'm basically making this video to say keep notes on these states in 2022. And Wisconsin is going to be a red state. I still have no doubt in my mind that Ron Johnson is going to win re-election. Again, red shifting state, a red shifting year, red shifting area of the country when Ron Johnson already had a good win. It just doesn't make sense for me for Ron Johnson to lose here. And Patrick Toomey, yeah, he's not running for re-election in Pennsylvania. John Fetterman, a beloved Democrat, is running for Senate here, and that is a blessing for Democrats because Republicans have no really good candidates set up, and I believe Connor Lamb might drop out soon if he hasn't already. Now, oh my God, Dr. Oz is running in Pennsylvania, and he's the only Democrat. He's the only Republican to show a close lead in Pennsylvania for 2022, and I do believe he will be the nominee. Oddly enough, I know, but I believe that once it comes to the debates, John Fetterman is going to utterly destroy Dr. Oz in those debates, and Dr. Oz is going to look like a fool. He has no political experience, and honestly, I think it's kind of funny that Republicans really want to run Oz here because he will get destroyed in the debates and will lose the swing voters, especially the ones that don't know who he is. I think Pennsylvania right now is a lean state for the Democrats, and that is very generous because for me that's over 2% as a flip. I almost never do 2-point plus flips. Flips are very rare, or a lot more rare than safe keeps. So, and everyone knows this. I do believe Warnock will also retain his seat in the Georgia Senate. I I think it's also another interesting race to look at because Trump has a candidate running here in Georgia, Herschel Walker. Herschel, I think, is actually how you pronounce it. He is on track to lose this race. From what I've seen, he's only winning in Republican internal polls, and Warnock is still winning here. So, again, like with Dr. Oz, fame is not going to win you a race. If anything, it makes you look stupid. Herschel Walker might look stupid against Warnock. Even I just have a very hard time believing that Herschel Walker wins Georgia. You know, he definitely has the potential to run for something like governor. Oh my God, would he destroy the governor race? But that's another video I'm going to talk about probably tonight as well. So if you're seeing this right now, look at my channel and you might see a governor race as well. Florida, I have as likely for Marco Rubio. Florida likes him. He can't do too much about COVID with his powers, so it's not like they can blame him for COVID's numbers. They do that with Ron DeSantis. And if you just heard a pop, it's fireworks, by the way. But yeah, Florida is not worth putting money in. It is not worth putting money in at all. If Charlie Crist were to run for Senate, that is a lot more. That puts a lot more use for Democrats. If Democrats got flipped a seat in Florida next year, then they're going to probably flip Missouri. They're probably going to flip North Carolina and flip Alaska. There's so many states that go with Florida because Florida is a red state now. Florida has two Republican senators. It has a Republican governor. It has now more registered Republicans than Democrats, which was interesting because it wasn't like that last year, and Biden still lost. And Florida, I honestly, it's a red state, and you can't argue with me on that. Donald Trump extended his win. It was the only swing state, or yeah, it was the one of the only two swing states that went towards the Republicans last year, and the other one was just the smallest possible shift. It was 0.027. So not even just a quarter of a tenth of a point. So like 1/40th of a percent. Nevada moved towards Republicans last year. But again, this is not the 2020 presidential election. This is a Senate election, so things don't always go hand in hand like that. I do currently believe that Republicans will flip Nevada based on a lot of data and polls and approval polls I've seen. So that's another interesting thing to look out for. Really pay attention to the candidates here. Democrats might be better actually running off a new candidate in the primaries other than the incumbent. Also, I do currently have Alaska as a lean red state and Arizona as a likely blue state. Again, another conversation I wanted to have in this real quick was Mark Kelly is doing so damn well with voters right now. His approval is pretty crazy. His polls should be pretty crazy, and he's way more approved of than Kirsten Sinema, which hopefully will, for Democrats, would change her ideology for going against them, because I think Kirsten Sinema thinks that if she says no to I think if Kirsten Sinema thinks that if she says no to the Democratic Party, she'll get most of the Democratic Party vote anyway and the conservative vote, which is not going to happen. Democrats are going to primary her. I feel like she's forgotten about that. But again, 2022 is Mark Kelly's race to win. There's not many candidates at all that will beat Mark Kelly. It depends on what Doug Ducey runs for, and I have not seen him announce anything. If I look up Doug Ducey right now and Senate next to it. Oh, another thing is Donald Trump said he would campaign for Mark Kelly if Doug Ducey runs against him, so that won't be good either for. Oh no, he announced he's not going to run. He said he's not running for Senate, so yeah, that kind of hands the race to Mark Kelly. He was the only candidate. And then I have North Carolina going to the Republicans for current obvious candidate reasons. We have not seen any data on North Carolina Senate race at all. We've seen data in Wisconsin, Pennsylvania, Nevada, Arizona, Colorado. More data in Colorado, a new safe state, than North Carolina. A huge pickup opportunity. But from what I've seen, there's only been one poll that has a 2-point win for Republicans, and their candidates are also better. It really depends on how the primary splits it.
Yo, what's up, Riley?
Hi, Josh. Hold on. I'll be back in the VC in a second. I forgot I was in a Discord. Sorry. And then I also do think that Maggie Hassan will win re-election in Nevada, in New Hampshire, because Kristen Nunu is not running. Republicans had so many opportunities that they've already missed, and if they want to take back the Senate, they have to keep. They really have to run some better candidates. They have to hold on to North Carolina. They have to run someone in Pennsylvania if they want to win. They have to win Herschel Walker's seat if maybe they want to pick someone else. It's not way too late to do that. This was pretty much a political update more than a prediction, and I hope you guys have